waja kunyamaza kimya na wajiumiza mwenyewe.
Welcome to mass media engagement from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Muhubo Idle. I work at Girl Concern Organization, which is a community-based organization here in Garissa that enhances resilience among women and girls. Amongst our program is an adolescent girls leadership program that's being supported by Global Fund for Women. And we also do menstrual hygiene management and also advocating against gender-based violence through outreach and community engagement through the Accelerate program that's being supported by GVRC, PSI, PS Kenya, and also Danida. I welcome my panelists. Thank you very much for doing this with me. And I'm going to give them a chance so that they can introduce themselves.
My name is Jessica Mnala. I'm the programs coordinator at Girl Concern.
My name is Salah Yusuf Mwalimu Moja. I work with Garissa Civil Society Network, where I am the vice chair. I'm also a human rights defender. I'm a male champion against GBV also, with the FIDA Kenya. Karibuni.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu Moja and also Jessica. My first question goes to you, Mwalimu Moja. What can you tell us on the status of gender-based violence in Garissa County?
Mobo, actually, I think it's good that you have initiated this program and you are supported. It's one of the major problems we have today in Garissa and actually in northern Kenya. Gender-based violence is a society issue here. The most common and violent type of gender-based violence is the harmful practice of FGM. There are laws that are there. The president has made a declaration, and every day that comes and every day that goes, a girl is cut. So it's a big problem that's here. We also have cases of rape and sexual assault that's taking place. In the last days, actually this month and last month, Garissa Civil Society Network, working with the Gender Technical Working Group, Garissa Gender Technical Working Group has noted that there is rise of GBV cases in Garissa. Very uncommon. Rape has increased. Marriage of young girls that are in school, this child marriage, over the COVID period and over this period of the drought, because many girls leave school over the drought season and left school over the COVID period. So in other places when we have teenage pregnancy, ours is teenage marriage or child marriage.
Maybe to just cut you short, could you maybe highlight why there's increase of gender-based violence in Garissa County?
Yeah, for harmful practices, FGM, every girl or every woman in Garissa or in Somali has to undergo the cut. So when she undergoes, also her girl must undergo the cut. It is a kind of heritage that's passed generation after generation. We have engaged with the opinion leaders, we have engaged with the women, we have engaged with the mothers, we have engaged with fathers, and even those who are doing the cut, the mamas who are doing the cut. And we have lastly engaged with the religious leaders who declared FGM not a religious practice. But still, the girls face the cut. So that one, it's an altar. Whether you make laws, whether you shout, whether you advocate. It's good that they have now reduced the extreme type of FGM they used to do. But now, still the cut is going on. They call it the Sunnah, which is the modest FGM, which still remains as an FGM. So that's the problem. We cannot say zero tolerance to FGM would ever be realized, even in the coming 100 years. With whatever effort we put, because this is something that has been inherited, and it's like it's going on from generation to generation.
Jessica, maybe you can tell us more on what are the myths and misconceptions around contraception?
So first of all, the young people in Garissa have a lot of myths and misconceptions surrounding contraceptives. That is the reason why they do not want to use contraceptives in Garissa. So one of them is that they purport to say that maybe contraceptives reduce the sexual desire in a person. So most of them avoid using contraceptives because they feel like it will reduce the sexual desire in a person, either a woman or a man. And some of them, they have a notion that contraceptives, they lead to cancer. So most of the people, when somebody is suffering from cervical cancer, they'll say maybe the woman was taking contraceptives, and that is why they do not want to use contraceptives. Others say it is a Western thing, that contraceptives are not something that is born in Africa, that it is a Western thing. The Western countries want to reduce the population of Africa, and that is why they have introduced contraceptives to Africa. So most of them, though they are the digital people, they are the civilized people, as they say, when it comes to contraceptives, they remember their African roots, and they refuse to take contraceptives because they say it is a Western thing. It has been introduced by the Western countries because they want to reduce the population of Africa, and that is why the intake of contraceptives, most probably among the youth, is very low. Another thing, they say it leads to immorality, that when people are taking contraceptives, it will be an easy route for people to engage in immoral activities. And that is why they refuse to take contraceptives, because they say if somebody knows they are not going to get pregnant, they are not going to be infected by HIV/AIDS, then they can simply use contraceptives and engage in sexual activities. So those are some of the reasons why young people in Garissa County refuse to take contraceptives, because of the number of reasons that I've mentioned.
Maybe to add for you, I worked with this program at Simao on the use of contraceptives. Most of the youth, as they are elderly people, believe also. They believe somebody can even, may not be even able to get pregnant even after use. When she gets married, she may lose the chance of getting pregnancy. It's a very big myth. They also believe that sometimes it gives the girl especially deformity. The girl grows huge, the hips broaden, and nowadays the young girls want to grow slim. I don't know why. So they also believe that watanona kupita kiasi. They normally say they will get fattened, so that deformity is why they are normally running away from.
Yeah.
For boys, we have been talking to the boys on educating their counterparts whom they engage with on contraceptives. And it was like it is a religious belief that you can only talk about contraceptive and birth control. They normally say it's birth control when you are in marriage. So youth outside marriage can never talk about use of contraceptive. It's a religious belief, and because they normally, it's not called FP, family planning in our context. It's called child spacing. So who talks about child spacing? The married, and not the teenagers.
Thank you very much for mentioning that term, child spacing. I wanted to maybe to try and contextualize family planning and contraception in Garissa County. So what's the importance of child spacing for the mother and also for the child?
For the mother and the child, there is a religious prescription that the mother should be able to breastfeed continuously for 2 years and even more. It helps the child and the mother to regain their strength, the child to overcome childhood illnesses. It also helps the child to get adequate nutrition, especially the breast milk from the mother. So, but if the mother gets pregnant within the first, after a year, already the milk ratio will get reduced. The mother's power and energy will get reduced. Even her performing normal household duties becomes a problem. I had 2 of my children where my wife got pregnancy before 2 years. And it took us a long time to treat those children. Unlike those children who have been able to complete their 2 years and get continuous breastfeeding for 2 and even up to 2.5 years, who did not have much illness. So it's good health for the child and good health for the mother.
So, okay.
Maybe to add on what Mwalimu has said, most of the youth around here are also married. The ones around 20 years, 22, we all know that youth goes up to 35 years. So majority of the youth around here are married, and probably it is important for them to child space because it gives the mother also enough time, because most of them are even going to school. It gives them time also to study, to also work. So it's important for them to child space. And majority of them prefer the natural methods because, again, as we have said, because of religious issues. So most of them will go for the religious, for the natural methods when they want to child space. So they give the child enough time to grow and also for the mother enough time to recover and to also do other things before she can give birth again.
Yeah, at Simaho, when they visit the facility, the medics used to tell them, go and come with your partner. It was mandatory to seek the consent of the husband. So when the husband is invited and the issue comes to table, the husband says he has to go back and discuss with the family. So it becomes a family debate, and especially the family of the guy. The performance contract of marriage is lazima kuwe na watoto. There must be kids, and they should be frequent. After 2-3 years, if there is a gap of 3-4 years, the next question is, why is this woman not taking pregnancy? Why is she not able to get pregnant? So there is that fear in the girls that if they take the contraceptive and they stay for a long time, the husband will resort to marrying another woman. Because the performance contract is lazima you, this lady should continue giving birth. So, and it is a must. So the girls normally fear also, if there is that gap of not giving birth for 3-4 years, this may instigate, the family may be coming up with that decision for the boy to marry another woman. Because we are naturally polygamous family. Yeah. And it's natural that some of this polygamy that we have today, if the girl is not able to get pregnant over a duration of 3-4 years, the family of the man demands that he marries another one, and he tries his luck. So if he gets another one, and she is able to get pregnant, this one is divorced. So it contributes also to the high rate of divorce.
So I think it goes back to the myth and misconceptions that we were talking about, that it is a Western thing. The family planning thing is a Western thing because we said, as we know, it's an African not to want children.
Yeah.
That in every African society, children are the pride of the society.
Yeah.
So when you say that you do not want children, you want to wait, then it's not acceptable in the African society, because in all African society, children must be there. So when you say you do not want to have children or you want to wait, then they'll start questioning you.
Yeah.
So, and what can we do to change that?
We had a meeting sometimes back last year, and we said we must start a lot of advocacy. And advocacy that involves the religious leaders, that involves women, that involves couples. And then, lastly, the teenage. But now, in Kenya and even in Garissa, because of the rising cases of teenage pregnancy, it's now becoming that teens are becoming the priority. But the larger part of the family, we have even households that have divorced because the woman went to the MCH and she has been seeking for FP. So without the consent of the man. And once the man learns that, anambashika barua yako, go home.
So, and maybe Mwalimu Moja, what method or what is the right method to educate also the husband?
We have proposed in our last year's strategy that once the mama reports to the MCH, the first visit, with or without pregnancy, and the second and the third, she must be escorted by a husband. We do what we call couple counseling, where HIV testing is done, family planning, health education and promotion is provided, a lot of other things at the facility level. So, and that will be very difficult, because me included, most of our Somali men going to the hospital because with a woman is like, is a problem.
Yeah.
So it's better he takes the child than going with a woman, kwa sababu you are required at the MCH.
I know. In MCH, for them to encourage more men to come to the hospital. If a woman comes with the husband, they attend to them faster than so that they can also encourage.
Even us, we are doing the same, and women who are supported and whom are brought to the hospital for delivery by their husbands, we used to provide net, we used to provide meals free of charge in the maternity.
So that to encourage more men to
More
come,
men.
to
We
come
even
to the
used to
facility.
allow them to go and see the delivery room, see them lastly before they deliver. So this was trying to encourage the men. And we have realized that engaging them more would be very much important.
I truly support what you're saying. When we encourage more men to assist their wife even in going to hospital, it's going to assist them in changing the perception, also in family planning and other issues.
Yeah, we have been trying to think and talk to these mamas. Even the space where you talk to them, we made it culturally compatible. We did a little bit of research with APHRC, African Population and Health Research Center, and they came up with a strategy which is called the Rare and Hair, which is based on culture and the family. So it's just a room like this, with camels drawn here, sitting on a mat, no chair, just a thermos of tea and 2 cups for them. Provide some little things that even that's taken at home, right? So in that environment, we start talking about FP, we start talking about maternal child health, and the men were coming in large numbers. Instead of even sitting outside. Most of the time when they bring them to the hospital, again, they just sit outside. So when we provided that space, they were able to come and even join the women.
Yes. And this is because they feel included also.
They feel included, they feel incentivized, they feel that they are part of the process.
I think this is a good lesson for even when somebody comes with a program in Garissa County. They need to contextualize them.
If you go now to the maternal shelter in PGH, it's culturally sensitive. You don't get this kind of water pot. You'll meet that mud in Naitwa, that pot which is made of mud, ashun, where they just fetch their water. Very cold.
And also the language when you speak when you're speaking to somebody coming from Garissa County, even if you are not a community member, you need to speak in a way that they can easily take what you're.
Exactly. For us, we provided CHG's community health volunteers who are coming from the locality. And again, good luck, we got CHGs also who are non-locals, who are coming from other parts of the country, but they have been born and brought up in Garissa. They know also the language. So they could speak both Somali and Swahili to them.
So Jessica, coming back to you, how as young people, how can we encourage ourselves or how can we end these myths and misconceptions as young people?
So as young people, to end the myths and misconceptions, as Mwalimu has just said, there should be a lot of advocacy. A lot of advocacy amongst young people. That is why it is important for peer educators. You know, young people listen to each other more. So when there's a young person talking to another young person, not the wrong information, but the correct information about this child spacing, then the young person can be able to take up what the other young person is saying. So peer educators are very important among the young population. Another thing is to do with social media. Most of the young people are on social media. So if this advocacy can also be taken on social media, then it will be so important. And the young people will be able to see and learn what the importance of these methods, if there's any, the dangers, if there's any. So they get all this information on social media. It will be very important, yeah. So I think that is so necessary among the young people.
Hobo, be rest assured, most of these young people have the information. It's not that they don't know. And let me tell you the truth. Again, some of them even access these contraceptives.
Yeah, true.
One time we did a small study with Action Aid. And we were reaching Tana River and here. We found teachers sending girls out of school and telling them you should not come back to school because they were seen using these things. And we were shocked. We had to engage with the teachers and tell them, retain the girls in school. This is not, this again is the law, sending a girl. If you don't allow her to use the contraceptive, what will happen? She will come back to the class with a baby, or she will be out of school because of pregnancy. So which one is good? Now, providing the right information, number one, is a strategy. Two, if we could have started providing this information at the early, the late stages of primary, class 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8, and then at secondary level, if we could activate these clubs, and because there are girls' clubs in this, but what they normally talk about is just some little thing on hygiene, menstruation, and HIV. So we are strengthening these clubs, the existing ones. We don't form new ones. Strengthen the existing ones by introducing contraceptive use, GBV issues, right? And talking to them. Actually, it has, for Action Aid, they got a lot of information because young girls were able to go out and protect girls who are to be circumcised by reporting and sending SMS, right? That there is a young girl who is being circumcised, please come. And we were able to move very fast and rescue those girls. So it is how we can be able to use these clubs effectively and strengthening them and making more effort in reaching many girls. The many girls you reach, the more the information passes and the more the use of contraceptive.
Mwalimu, I also think that there was, when we were growing up, there was also a program, I think, by the government,
Yeah.
which was the ABC.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's not as radical as it was previously.
Yeah.
So they should reintroduce that program where they used to teach us about A for abstinence, B for be faithful to your partner, then C, use a condom. But nowadays, they just don't do it as they used to do previously. So if they were to reintroduce the program back to school, I guess most of the young people the program will assist most of the young people.
Yeah,
in schools.
that program was supported by National AIDS Control Council. And now, because AIDS is under control in Kenya, and the prevalence has reduced, especially in our area, for example, that program has died in schools. The clubs exist, but they are not aggressive.
Yeah, so it should be
So,
reintroduced.
yeah. You don't form new clubs,
Yeah.
strengthen the existing ones.
The existing ones.
Yeah, also for sustainability purposes, you strengthen the existing
Exactly.
structures and then, yeah, so maybe,
Then another strategy we used was we trained our CHBs, those who are providing community health volunteers, who are supporting the antenatal, maternal child health programs, those who are supporting the immunization program. All of them, we brought them and we introduced this issue of contraceptive. So they were reaching out to the mamas at home, and at the same time they were reaching to the teenage girls. It was helpful. So you don't recruit again new CHVs.
Yeah.
Use the existing ones.
True. And how can we link family planning with the GBV? How can the two link up?
We are doing a study on that now. It's going on, and it's supported by one of the agencies, African Union. I think it will be done by February.
Okay.
So we are trying to link both.
Yeah, because I think it's really important to see how family planning is being used as a method to assist the survivors of GBV. Because when somebody gets raped and unfortunately they find themselves pregnant, they have not gone to the hospital, they didn't do any referrals, nothing has been done. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to look into. And I think we are coming to the end of our discussion.
Maybe Muhubo, before we end the discussion, that one that you were talking about, the young people, talking to young people, the adolescent girls have realized the one you're saying that they do not, maybe one person has been raped, they don't go to the referral centers, they don't go to hospital, and then later on they find out they are pregnant. So speaking to most of the young people, they told me like, when you go to the referral centers or the hospitals when you've been raped, most of the times they give you emergency pills so that you do not get pregnant if the sperm was released into you. So most of the young girls have been talking about, they told me that it is not good to abort. Religion does not allow to abort. So there's this misunderstanding. They don't know how to differentiate abortion pills and emergency pills. Most of them see them as one and the same, yet emergency pills are not the same as abortion pills, because emergency pills are just ensuring that you do not get pregnant, but the abortion pills is when you're already pregnant. So talking to the young people, it's important for them to get the information, to clarify to them that when you've been raped, you go to hospital, you are not aborting anything. They are going to give you emergency pills so that they prevent, in case you do not become pregnant. So it is important for the right information to reach the young people.
Maybe lastly on contraceptive, when we use the religious leaders. So I think using the religious leaders to advocate is something very important.
Yeah, I think wrapping up, what I can hear from both of you is we really need to advocate more on GBV, on also contraception, and so that we can ensure our girls and our women are safe. And okay, you have anything?
Yes. GBV, were you with us in the Lombard meeting? Who was with us?
I think I was there, I think.
The one of the DPP and the UNODC.
Okay, I was there.
So, what came out clearly, out of every 10 cases reported in the hospital, only 2 or 3 will reach the police. And out of the 3 or 2 that reach the police, only 1 may reach the court. And the one that reaches the court does not get justice. So what happens? Accelerating justice for those survivors is something very important in GBV.
Yeah, I truly get you. And also...
2, survivor support programs. We don't have them. No organization is providing except RCK. These girls need psychosocial support, right? If you talk to these girls and bring them to normalcy and tell them life is on, you'll be able to continue on and give them hope, they'll be able. But most of the girls, for example, who have encountered this in Garissa, some of them are not going back to school. They are not even coming to markets because they are seen as, not as survivors, but as victims themselves. True. So survivor support is also very important. Thirdly, a lot of advocacy on this issue is what is required at community level, because this was not common. In the last 2 months, we even saw sodomy on the rise in Garissa, which was something Very wonderful. 3 days ago, I was sitting with some religious leaders, and they were telling me this thing is going to the worst, and it may even necessitate some people to take actions which is unlawful. So if the government does not do what we call enforcement, because our security agencies are laxed, there is no, that part of enforcement of the law is not there. You talk to the police, there is an incident that happened, it takes them 2-3 days to reach and even arrest the perpetrator. So there is a lot of gaps in GBV. As much as it's on the rise, mostly the gaps are based on the system, not the society, right?
Yeah.
Because if the society tries to act, it's like, taking the law in their hand. And that's what they fear. So we need aggressive kind of strategies that will be able to overcome this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think every actor should be responsible when coming up with programs, especially in a society that's their ideals are taken more from the religion. And religion is something which is close to somebody's heart. You cannot change somebody's religious beliefs. So when actors are coming with programs, especially those who are non-communities within Garissa County especially, and also the entire north region, they should at least include members or society from the community, or even if that's going to be much expensive, they should use a lens whereby they do not judge the community, but they work around the perception of the community, so that they can be able to really understand how the community is and also assist the community. Because as an organization, it's not just advocacy, but it's also assisting a fellow human being. So we should not criticize how even if somebody is different from you, even if they are thinking differently, even if they are dressing differently than you, we should not criticize that, but we should move, we should move ahead that and try to know why is this person reasoning this way. And it takes a lot of care. It takes a lot of learning, and so to ensure we come up with viable programs that can really address the needs of a community, we need to care for that community first of all. And I think those are my closing remarks. Maybe I can give you a chance to also close.
So I think, speaking about young people, I think young people need information. Information is important for every young person. Information on contraceptives, information on SGBV, they need the right information. If you do not give them the right information, they'll get the wrong information. They always do get the wrong information from social media, from the internet. They'll always get the wrong information. So it's important that the young people are given the right information through education, through advocacy, through peer educators. All this needs to be done for the young people to have the information on their fingertips to make the right decisions. Because when a young people lacks the information, they are bound to make the wrong decision in life. So it is important for that. Again, young people need role models in society. When the society does not have the correct role models, then the young people are left to just gamble out in life and choose whatever they want to choose. So it's important for there to be role models in society, for there to be role models shown on the media and everywhere for young people to emulate. But the wrong role models will always now capture the young people if the right role models do not come forward. So it is important for people to dispel the rumors and the myths and misconceptions so that young people can make the right decision in life. So I think information is important. I think advocacy is important, and it is good for young people to make the right decisions in life. Yeah.
For me, I'll close with maybe a shot on gender-based violence. As I said, we need to make sure that the laws that are there, the declaration of the president, are fully enforced. With an upbeat kind of law enforcement and access to justice provided, I think the numbers will reduce. Two, we need to strengthen our coordination and networking, because the referral pathways for gender-based violence, from the police to the hospital to survivor support to access of justice, they are loopholes, right? The process is long, and because of this long process, mostly the survivors and the perpetrators try to drop from this process. They resort to maslahi, which is a traditional mechanism of resolving over the dispute. And then that traditional system does not provide for the survivor. It supports the perpetrator. And no wonder the little amount that's paid by the perpetrator's family is just shared among elders. No woman is allowed to sit in that meeting. The survivor is not brought in that meeting. So it is purely a patriarchal kind of system which does not provide. So we already formed, the Garissa Gender Technical Working Group has formed a committee for GBV a week ago. And we are working on these strategies that each and every one of us takes a position in the fight against GBV. So I think I will ask Girl Concern to take a position and take a pillar in providing one of the referral services which can be provided in the referral pathways. Lastly, we need to sensitize and educate our community. I was talking to elders. I was telling them, if you don't stop FGM now and you don't stop the cut now, that girl whom you have allowed to be cut would come back home when she has got fistula. You know fistula?
Yeah.
When the girl is not able to deliver because of her weaknesses and because of her immaturity to bear a child, the child will look for a pathway to pass. And then both parts of the birth canal tear up. So what happens when that happens? Those girls in Kenyatta matter if you go today. The highest number of fistula cases come from northern Kenya. And why? It's because of one, the early marriage, two, because of FGM. You marry a child of 14 years, would she be able to carry a child or twins? Is a physical system ready to bear a child? So when the girl is not able to bear the child again, and the time comes for birth, what happens? Because this body is not mature enough and provided, and again, there is that birth canal has been sewn, right? What happens? The child will look for another pathway. So we saw some of them, even they were given their divorce letter in the hospital because she will not be a wife anymore. And she is brought back to your home, the mother and the father. It is your burden now. So I was telling the mamas, it is you who circumcised your daughter with an essence of giving a man a virgin girl. But today she's here, he has brought her back. Yeah, anatafuta mwingine. He looks for another one. So we need to talk to our parents mostly. Talking to the parents of these girls. We have to reach them. And finally, male involvement in the three. Right? If we don't involve men in contraceptive use and family planning, if we don't involve men in gender-based violence programs, then we shall be doing very little. We may be doing something, but very little. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We may be doing something, but very little. So I think finishing up, GVRC has a free toll for anyone who is experiencing maybe GBV, if you're a survivor maybe, and you need help, or if you are somebody who knows somebody who needs help, you can use this toll-free line to get the help that you need. So it's 0800 720 565. I shall repeat, 0800 720 565. And lastly, please let's use social media to our advantage. There's so many ways of reporting GBV using the social media. So thank you very much to our panelists and to also the organizers of the event. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Form ni aje, umejiuliza we, hakuna haja kunyamaza kimya na wajiumiza mwe.